AITA for asking my dill if my ex-wife got a job. I have been divorced for 10 years and recently my ex-wife moved back to the city my sons live in. My youngest son has an apartment that he rents as an investment property and recently allowed his mother to move in as his tenant. The issue is my ex-wife just moved back from another failed marriage and has a lot of baggage. Not wanting to poop on my son's happiness about finding a win-win by renting to his mother, I asked my dill wife of my other son, who I communicate with almost daily, if my ex had found a job. She had found a job, which was great news. About 5-6 weeks later, I get a call from my ex stating that she understands that I am just watching out for our son and that she respects that. She proceeds to start telling me how I need to get over the anger from our divorce, which I filed for, and that she is sorry for the things she has done. Then she goes on to tell me that I was a coward and horrible person for asking my dill instead of asking her, my ex-wife, directly if she had a job. I simply told her that due to the many issues over the years, I do not ask her questions because she has a very long history of being a liar, especially if the truth could be embarrassing. She begins to rant and rave about how that is BS and that I am just mad at her and need to get over it. I attempted to explain to her that I am not mad and hope the best for her. That she is not part of my day-to-day thoughts whatsoever. The only reason why I did not ask her is I don't trust her responses. Her response is a string of personal attacks, profanity and yelling about how my current wife is nothing but a W etc. I let her go for a while and then simply say that I am sorry she is so angry, but I actually don't care about all the stuff she is yelling about. She explodes again and I simply say goodbye and hang up. For the record, I don't trust my ex-wife as she has stolen my identity, threatened to ruin my life, threatened to take me to court for honoring the divorce decree, accused my current wife of being a gold digger, even though she was worth more than me when we met, hid property during the divorce process, and threatened to break up my best friend's marriage, whom my son she is now renting from worked for by lying about him cheating on his wife. I was talking to a friend about this and he thought I was the a-hole, as that is the mother of my children. I think asking a liar for the truth is simply pointless. Was I the a-hole? Story 2, asking her for a divorce tomorrow. I've tried hard to make this work, but I can't do it anymore. Unless she does something huge to show her committal to our marriage, I will start the divorce process. It all started 1.5 years ago. She had been a housewife for a decade. She wanted to pay off our house faster, so she got a job delivering pizzas. She was open about everything that happened there. It was a small pizzeria, so I met her coworkers. She had them over for dinner. Last year she talked me into letting one of them rent a room from us. She would make extra money. He would live in a better place. I knew him. It seemed like a win-win. I didn't think it would be a problem because my wife had shown herself to be trustworthy across our whole marriage, all 17 years of it. She's also nearing 50 and he's in his late 20s. He also is an immigrant saving up to bring his wife over. After 5 months, my wife suddenly moved out of the bedroom. She was sleeping in our spare room. That itself isn't suspicious. We prefer sleeping in different temperatures and my work shifts have me sleeping at odd hours, so we've slept in different rooms before. After a few days, I came home for lunch. My wife sat me down and said we had to talk. She told me that during the morning, our daughter 12 years old caught them kissing in the kitchen. I asked her if she had slept with him. She said yes. I told her I loved her very much and that there's something important in our marriage if we've been together for 17 years. She agreed to go to counseling with me. He moved out immediately and we started marriage counseling. She hated it and cried hysterically after each session. The counselor seemed off and didn't seem to understand what she was doing. I switched to a different counselor and he was great. But my wife refused to have more counseling. She hated the first one and refused to give someone else a try. So I attended alone with the other 1.5 times. This whole time, she refused to quit her job. I asked her, explaining that I'm not jealous or suspicious. I just fear continuing to work with him will prevent us from reconnecting and healing. She got angry and refused. She almost threw her phone at him, telling me to check her texting history if I don't trust her. She never quit. After a few months, we never seemed to move on or get back together. A cloud seemed to hang over us and I lived constantly with the uncertainty of our future. With my counselor's help, I kept proposing ideas to help us heal. One was to go on a vacation with just the two of us. She refused. By November I was thinking I might have exhausted all my options to heal. Me and my counselor agreed we couldn't do more together. I think he was hinting I should divorce. My father suggested to wait until after Christmas so I wouldn't put a dark cloud over the holiday. While this was happening, I snooped through her dresser in the spare room where she was sleeping. I found a small stash of lingerie. It's not new, but she specifically moved it there. For the past few years, she hated wearing lingerie. I kept an eye on it, and it never moved. The exact position of each bra and panty was the same, so I'm confident she didn't even move it. I also snooped through her text history and didn't see anything suspicious. I kept an eye on it. November to December, I thought a lot about divorce. I knew it was likely, but I wanted to make sure I didn't do the wrong thing. We have a daughter. We get along so well and it will be hard to meet someone with her traits again. 17 years. Maybe I was just working up the courage to leave her. At New Year's, the other man went back to his home country. She drove him to the airport and kept his car here. A few days later, she told me she thinks he wasn't actually on vacation, but to stay. She told me suspicious things he said. But as she talked, the things became strong and more obvious. So obvious it looked like she knew he was staying but was faking, just figuring it out. I checked her phone again and she had re-deleted her entire text history with him. Again, this week, she said his wife found out about the affair. My wife had tried communicating with him and his wife told her never to contact them again. I offered to email him to arrange disposal of his car, but she ignored me. Yesterday she told me she had tried multiple times to contact him and his wife texted and emailed her angry words and emojis. She doesn't seem to get it that she should stop. That was the final push for me. Not only does she not respect me, she doesn't respect his wife either. She seems to have no intention to stop her relationship with him and has done some highly suspicious things. I'm done. Not only have I tried everything to try and fix our marriage, not only have I been trying so hard to be a good husband before the affair, cleaning, help with our child, fixing things, touching without time, and more, but I'm also done feeling this way. I've felt shock and fear. I frequently break out crying. I can never understand why she would cheat, keep cheating, hide things, and not try like hell to fix something she does value. I often break out shouting, "Why did you do it?" Or "Why can't you just love me?" I'm sick of feeling this way. At one point, I considered just staying in marriage without time or love because there's so much good in our relationship and we still get along really well. But I've come to see that I'll never move on if I live with her. The misery is invisible but ever present. I have to divorce to move on. I can't keep living with this anxiety and uncertainty. It's selfish and wrong of her to put me in this position. I want out. At least I've accomplished one thing, knowing I've done everything I can to save this once wonderful marriage. I though of divorce once, she confessed, but I didn't want to regret it years later. Now, I don't think I will. Update, January 15th. The next day I talked with her about divorce. I told I love her and always will, but that I can't keep living the way I've been. We're not healing and after this much time I don't think we will. I said we need to end our marriage. She agreed. She said she doesn't feel like we're healing either. She said that she's not getting an emotional connection that she needs and that it's something that she's struggled with for a long time, long before she met her affair partner. To be honest, something felt off for a long time. I had tried harder to be a good husband, but by myself it wasn't enough. She has no idea what I'm not giving her. I think she really could have benefited from counseling and maybe CBT. It's possible I'm giving her everything she needs, but she just has some dysfunctional mindsets that's keeping her dissatisfied with life, which then interferes with her from having a happy relationship. I am certain therapy could have helped, but it's too late for that now. A few years ago, I tried to get her to counseling, but she refused. We talked about where we go from here. We don't have fixed plans yet, but we're thinking of leaving her the house and I keep our savings. Those are roughly equal to our home equity. I proposed 50-50 parenting time without daughter and she didn't object. However, I will have to consider how that could be affected by my work schedule. I work both days and nights. Although she's a nearly 13-year-old with no special needs. She should be able to get up in the morning and go to school without my help. It's really only the mornings that I won't be able to see her. I'll have to pay child support. It's mandated by the government based on a formula, so we don't have any discretion. My wife says she understands she's the one who caused this, so she will not press for spousal support. That's huge. I'm grateful for that. I make good money, but child support plus meaningful spousal support would seriously hurt my livelihood. I haven't broached the subject of my pension yet, but in light of everything else I'm optimistic. We don't have details or commitments yet, but it's only a day into our decision. We will need time to work out the details, meet a lawyer, and get the process moving. This is hard, but so much better that it's amicable. A lot of you guys have posted hate for her and pushed me to do things like surprise her with paperwork, try for full custody of our daughter, etc. You read about something awful then get a justice be nair at the thought of her getting punished. I get it. She did something terrible. But going to war isn't going to make things better. I simply have no chance at full custody or keeping all the assets. A legal battle will cost tens of thousands to only end up with a deal that's worse than what she's offering me. Then there's months to years of stress, anger, and conflict that would hurt our child above all. And the only ones who would come out better would be the lawyers. Screw lawyers. Also, I just would rather not be angry. I just feel better being at peace. With our child, we'll have to work together even after a divorce, so we might as well get along. I've seen plenty of other people constantly quarrel over their kids. They're always frustrated, miserable people. I don't want to be like that. I don't feel happy yet. I feel sad, scared, and sometimes sick to my stomach. Sometimes I second guess this decision, but it's obviously the right one. Divorce may be analogous to ripping off a band-aid, but I guess it still feels bad because divorce is a process, not a single instantaneous action. I hope things get better. Story 3, is fart sharing cheating? I work with someone that could be considered my work wife, but she is more like a bro. She is very attractive but I see her more of a sister. Once in a while I'll consider her in a different light but 99% it's like your family. Anyways, we go to lunch a lot and while we are driving to the restaurant where we usually eat on Thursdays, we'll actually fart out loud in the car together, and, strangely, enjoy it. We'll laugh a little, smell each other's farts, and to be honest it's borderline erotic. It's gotten to the point where I would miss not smelling her in that way. Does this constitute cheating? Redditors' reactions. Next story after. Redditor 1, WTF did I just read? Redditor follow-up, I clicked on this because I had to see what fart sharing was. And it was exactly what it sounded like. I thought it might have been something else. I was wrong. Redditor 2, I thought you were a smart feller, but turns out you were a fart smeller. Redditor 3, yes. You are emotionally bonding and sharing intimacy with a woman that is not your wife. Have you shared these details with your wife? If you have not, then you have answered your own question. Redditor 4, I would have said no, but that last part of the paragraph was weird and made me change my mind pretty quick. LMFAO. Redditor 5, yeah. Someone is going to make an official move really soon and you're about to go from emotionally cheating to physically cheating. But either way, you're already cheating. You admitted you go on dates. Story 4, need advice. 37M married 17 years to mid-divorce. 40F can't seem to let go of nuclear family. Can't seem to let go of nuclear family. Staying together for the kids. Married 17 years. Me 37M ex-wife. 40F. Kids boy 10 boy 5 girl 3. Married started out on wrong foot. I wasn't in love with wife but first a marriage due to leaving for military. We both cheated multiple times, but we also found a really nice companionship and dynamic with us and our kids. We still fought a lot, really constantly. I guess in the end we kind of grew up together. Getting married so young, it's the only life I've ever known. She wants to try again, I do too, but only BC. We have kids together and with the hope of something more eventually. I've never had a natural spark with her. She did for me at one point but that faded out. But for whatever reason, I just can't let my family go. Everyone says how it will be bad for the kids. All I can see is my kids suffering dealing with the divorce, and then I question, well maybe my ex and I will find a love we never had. Maybe we both water the grass, but it's such a long road to even find out. But stating all of that, I just can't move on. I can't bring myself to even want to try at anything romantically with ex-wife, but also find it in my heart to move on from my nuclear family. I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse here with this relationship. We get along fine now, but it's just like friends for me. We used to have time regularly and it was very good, but I never ever looked at my ex-wife the way I wanted to. She also never felt that from me, and more than likely isn't going to happen. If it did, we would have to build to that. But it's been 17 years, why can't I let this go? Story 5. How do I 41M regain the trust of my wife 36F? Background: we've been together for more than a decade, and it's been very rocky. She concealed some incredibly important facts from me when we met, and I did the same to her. Our relationship wasn't what I'd thought it was after we got engaged, or when we got married, or when we decided to have kids, but it was her pregnancy that really brought things home. She had a very difficult pregnancy, and she wanted more than anything for me to be over the top loving and supportive and excited, and I wasn't. I can make quite a few excuses as to why, but she didn't get what she wanted while she was pregnant, and I regret it to this day. Worse, I was continuing a friendship with another woman, Beth, who makes my wife feel extremely insecure. There was never anything physical or romantic between Beth and me, but my wife was convinced that I was pining for Beth and had settled on her as a second choice. At the same time that I wasn't showering my wife with love and attention, I was sharing confidential information with Beth, particularly the gender and name we'd chosen for the baby, which we were going to announce after the birth. We didn't talk often and we didn't meet up in person. It was a half a dozen short text conversations over 4 months. But the fact that I shared the name and gender while we were keeping it secret from everyone else was a betrayal of my wife's trust. It came to a head about 2 months after the baby was born. The birth itself was traumatic. We almost lost our daughter. Afterwards, my wife suffered from extreme postpartum depression for about 6 weeks. But she came out of it, determined to make things up to me, and she had been doing that for about 2 weeks when she found my text messages with Beth. When she confronted me, she asked me to cut Beth out of my life permanently. I should have agreed immediately, but I didn't. I tried to defend myself and preserve my friendship with Beth, which was a mistake. I agreed to my wife's terms the next day, but the damage to our relationship was permanent. From there, things have been up and down. During a fight a year later, I admitted to my wife that I'd lie to her to get her to shut up. I had told her that I agreed that the text conversations with Beth were cheating, after a fight we'd been having, when in fact I was sick and tired of the argument and just wanted to end it. That's come up repeatedly since then, as an example of why she can't trust me. There are plenty of other problems, including my failure to arrange birthday celebrations for her, but it mostly boils down to me not opening up and not sharing with her. I'd like to try to build something from the ashes, if only so that we can co-parent together. Story 6. My 39M wife 39F ended the relationship but now wants reconcile after 3 months. Me and my wife have had a great relationship. I have loved her more than anything else in the world and I could feel the same from her too. We have 2 daughters who are 16 and 14 and of course I love them too. My wife is someone who always cared and we never had any stupid fights or anything like that. 3 months ago out of nowhere she said she wants to end the relationship. She said she wants to move out and cannot continue to be in a relationship with me. I was shocked and extremely hurt. I asked her if I did something wrong. She said that it's not my fault. I asked her if she cheated on me. She said she didn't cheat and that she just cannot continue. She didn't give any proper reason. I was extremely hurt. She moved out with the kids. Of course I could meet the kids whenever I wanted. After a few days of moving out she posted some pictures on social media of her partying and kissing a girl. Seeing that really hurt me and it made sense that she could be cheating on me with that girl. The past few months have been really difficult for me emotionally. After she moved out, whenever I went to pick up the kids, she used to avoid me. Now since 3 weeks she is being friendly. She is also coming along when I'm taking the kids out. She is having normal conversations like before. We even watched a movie together a few days ago. A few hours ago she told me that she wants things to go like before and be together again. I asked her who was that girl who you were kissing. She said she is just a friend and nothing more. I asked her if she cheated on me. She said she didn't cheat on me. She is doing good for herself financially. I do earn more than her but she is not getting back cause she is broke or anything like that if someone is wondering. I do want to be with her again, but I am scared what if she does the same thing again? I am still confused why she even wanted to end things with me out of the blue in the first place. Redditors reactions. Redditor 1. She likely wanted to get together with someone and now that she has had her fun she wants to get back with you. Redditor 2. Your wife left you for someone else, wasn't honest about it then, and isn't honest about it now. It didn't work out like she wanted, so she's returning to her backup plan. The reason she's not telling you anything about why she left is because she knows it's going to make it clear that she's not coming back because she loves you. Eventually, you'll get a very sanitized and largely fictional version of events. She'll also try to make her feel like if you don't take her back, you are the one destroying the family. Don't fall for any of that bullpoop. She was with you for what sounds like decades, and she either dropped you on a whim without any notice, or she had been doing poop behind your back for much longer without getting caught. Why would you trust her again? Redditor 3, you are now Plan B. Don't ever be anyone's Plan B, it never becomes Plan A.